Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Astrological Intentions. I am your host, Alex Reevy, along with the teetotaler tea drinker, Sandy Reevy.
Thank you for the tea from Azores.
It is episode 418, the week of July 27th. Let's get right into it. In the transits, we start off with today, the 27th, Sun opposing Pluto retrograde,
444, the powerful.
and Sun trine Neptune retrograde,
444, intuition counts.
and Sun sextile Uranus.
444, joining with others.
Wednesday, July 29th, Venus square Mars,
A magnetic pulse.
and Sun conjunct Jupiter.
Days like this.
And the full moon at 6 degrees of Aquarius.
Wildly active and promising.
Then in Talisman Times, we are going to discuss to honor the power of partnership. On the horizon, we have our August astrology forecast coming up, the Chicago UAC, as well as the Egypt retreat. And in our house, have you seen it yet? Let's hear Sandy's take of the myths of the Odyssey movie. Stay tuned for this episode of Astrological Intentions.
I say go do you. Now travel far, share your stories and earn your scars. It's you. Say you are the one you will answer to when this life is done. Don't waste a minute, jump in the river. Wash yourself clean so you can deliver you. The story of you.
Hello, Miss Teetotaler Tea Drinker.
I do drink my herbal tea every night before bed.
Yes.
So therefore on my whoop I can say, yes, I had my herbal tea.
Perfect. So it is the week of July 27th. I can't even believe we're at the end of the month. Episode 418. Shall we get right into it? In the transits, we have 2 days full of transits, 3 transits each day. And our first day is Monday, July 27th, Sun opposing Pluto retrograde.
The powerful, this sun is in Leo, 4 days into Leo. So therefore the sun is at 4 degrees, making the opposition to Pluto 4. Again, all the astrologers are talking about the Barbo basket, that all these outer planets and some of the superior ones are coming to a 4. And here the sun is here now. The sun's very powerful because the sun is in its domicile rulership of Leo. So this is the powerful. And when I was writing this on my good paper, just as I was contemplating this aspect on how I was going to do a little explanation of, power, my phone dinged and it said Elon Musk became the first trillionaire. And as soon as I look at that, I'm like, yep, that's it. Drop mic. I'm done. This is like, this is a power source. Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on to the second transit of Monday, Sun trine Neptune retrograde.
Yeah, again, 4. They're both at 4. So intuition counts. This is Neptune in a trine. Sun is supercharged. So the sun is holding, both the Leo portion because it's in domicile, and he's also holding the Aries portion where Neptune is, because the sun is exalted there. So this is really important for, even though it's in fire sign, it is Neptune, and Neptune's retrograde, just turned retrograde. So there's this like reactivating a feeling. How do you move on that? How, like, intuition here helps you supercharge, right? Like gives you direction.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just a day when the sun is making all 3 of these aspects, right? The opposition to Pluto, the trine to Neptune, and then the next one that you're going to mention is the sun makes the sextile to Uranus at 4, right? It's all 4. They're all
Mm-hmm.
happening in one day. And this is to join others to make a difference, right? This is saying, hey, I can run the mission. The sun is in Leo as the leader. But it's also saying to Uranus in a sextile to Uranus is saying, let's join forces and do something together. taking an opportunity to do something progressive and new. So, I don't know. Oftentimes we talk about the sun being our king or the person in charge of, um, like say the nation. So it
Yeah.
could be a king slash president slash leader slash prime minister.
Someone with a lot of influence.
hmm And it
Okay.
could be in your own, you are in your own world. We get that. But we'll be looking for some, I mean, there's always news here in the States, always, especially now. It's just overabundant in change of um,
Right.
news and information.
All right. So anything else about our last transit, the Sun sextile Uranus?
No, I just think it's just a good time. All of these are, can we use a powerful influence and have a feeling on what might be uh, um, the right way, the right direction, and who you join with is important here, right?
Okay. All right.
You want to work with, but moving to a similar mission.
Okay. So I know we kind of flew through those three transits. Are we good to go to move on to Wednesday?
Yeah.
Okay. So our next transit date is Wednesday, July 29th, and the first transit is Venus square Mars.
Yeah, I call this magnetic pulse because it's very interesting how the Venus is in Virgo. She's in fall, but she's in Virgo, ruled by Mercury. Mars is in Gemini, ruled by,
Mercury.
and so here we have Mercury is now at um, 17 degrees, and it 17 degrees of Cancer because he's still moving in that direction. So because still hasn't come out of mm, his shadow period, let's say. He's
Okay.
direct, but he's not. So, maybe finally, because Mercury is direct, that these two can work through an issue, right? It's a square, but the ruler of both of these is now working, is moving, right? Because it got stuck at 16 degrees for 8 days, and so it's moving. So, hey, when the female planet, the feminine planet of Venus meets up in a square, a 90-degree angle with the masculine planet, it can go either way. It can be repulsed or attracted. So is it either a go or is it a stay? So, but something seems to be able to get answered here. It's like you've sat on something and you now can maybe have a clear answer to the question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you go or do
Mm-hmm.
you stay?
Okay. And so the second transit of Wednesday, the 29th, Sun conjunct Jupiter.
Yep, this is the Kazemi of, the sun comes around in every year and meets up with every planet, by the way, right? Because the
Mm-hmm.
sun
Mm-hmm.
makes the whole thing. But this time, last year, sun met up with Jupiter in Cancer, right? So this year, the sun meets up in Leo, which is the sun's location. So it's a very positive day, and we're only going to get of course, one hit of this because the sun keeps moving forward. And I just call this days like this, which, it's just like you remember that song, right? That was our Greek island retreat song, right? Where it
Right.
was just
The Van
like,
Morrison song.
right? And when you hear those lyrics, right? It's just, and we played that every day at the beginning of every class because we wanted people to look out over the bay and see the beautiful, you know,
Right.
sea.
The days like this, there's going to be
Right.
really wonderful days, and there's going to be challenging days, and there's going to be sad days, and there's going to be all of it to look forward to.
But how about it's like when it's not always raining, there'll be days like this. When there's no one complaining, there'll be days like this.
Mm-hmm.
Everything falls into place like the flick of a switch. Well, my mama told me there'll be days like this,
Hmm.
right? When you don't need to worry, there'll be days like this. So we forget sometimes, that we have these days like this that are about no one's in a hurry, that you don't get betrayed, that you don't
Hmm.
need an answer, when you don't meet a chancer, when you have like when everything starts to, fit.
Yeah. Because it
Um,
reminds me of the song too, which I think it's kind of like a spin-off, but it's Mama said there'll be days like this, there'll be days like this, my mama said.
yeah, when everyone is up front and they're not playing tricks, when you don't have no freeloaders out to get their kicks, when it's nobody's business the way you want to live, you just have to remember. Q.
There'll be days like this, my mama said.
Yeah, I just really like that song, and I wish we could cue it, but I guess we'll get what, red flagged?
Yeah, we can't play it. But okay. So a exciting day to look ahead to
Yeah, and
Wednesday.
actually, this is my favorite day of the month because I just really like the sun coming to Jupiter in the sun's domicile. It's almost like the sun has welcomed the greater benefic to come
Hmm.
visit him. And there's just like a really nice atmosphere, very pleasurable, very generous, very gracious, very, queenly, kingly, um, maybe a little over the top, right? Because it's Jupiter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So shall we move on to our final transit of Wednesday and the week? Full moon at 6 degrees of Aquarius.
Yep, this is at 9:36 a.m. Central Time, and this is wildly active. We've got the Sun in Leo we just talked about, making that opposition to the Moon, which has to be opposite Leo, which is Aquarius. And again, these are both at 6 degrees, and we do have, the Sun is making same day, right? The Sun is with Jupiter, and
Hmm.
the Moon is with Pluto. So it's this really kind of, and I don't want to call it a struggle, but sometimes an opposition is, right? It's just a huge light of reflecting off, some wildly active and promising periods. I really like this position. So, and we're slowly getting into our next lunation will be the eclipses. So it's kind of, I do like this, that there's more of, there's like generosity possibly coming from the king or the king of our own domicile, um,
Hmm.
in response to what the public needs. Wouldn't that be nice?
That sounds wonderful. All right. So it is kind of a snippety snap of a week and we're done. But it's exciting. We should be anticipating some good things ahead. Um, don't forget you can also follow along with these transits personally. You can download the astrology guide, download your natal chart, or book a reading with Sandy. And if you use the code podcast, you get a special discount. I'll throw in all of those links in the show notes. Let's move on to Talisman Times, where we are discussing Talisman number 1942, and this is going to be made July 30th to honor the power of partnership.
And of course, this is at sunrise because the sun and Jupiter are rising over the ascendant, and this is slightly after the full moon. And so here we have the sun in the first house with Jupiter making that opposition to the moon in the seventh house. So that's the honor of the power of partnership.
Hmm.
Together, we inspire change and create a better future. I lead with love. I grow with others. I shine and we rise. So this
Mm,
could be a love partnership. It could be a business partnership. It could be
right?
somebody working with a collaborator. on some project. This is powerful. I really like this one. Of course, it's early in the morning, sunrise. And
Yeah.
so we will be able to grab that energy that reflects the moon, helping other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Also, we do have a whole list of our pre-sale talismans and our finished talismans on the website. Just click that link in the show notes. And let's move on to the horizon, where we have upcoming on August 1st, the August astrology forecast, where Sandy and Susan will come together, bring both of their brilliancy into one PDF, one video, where they will discuss all about the transits of the upcoming month. I'm going to throw that link in there so you can be there for the live streaming, but also it is recorded if you can't make it there on time on August 1st at 9 a.m. Central. And you can also download the August cheat sheet where those proceeds go to funding all of the Chatting with the Stars. On to September. We are creeping up into finally the big month of September for us, and we will be at the Chicago United Astrology Conference, Chicago UAC. That is at the Marriott Hotel downtown. You can purchase your tickets. I have a link in the show notes, and that is September 3rd through the 8th.
Right.
And
And you could just get a day pass, especially if you live in Chicago or want to do a quick drive in from somewhere nearby. Um, it's wild, especially come to the marketplace and see me.
yeah, for sure. And we also have our retreat, our Egypt retreat. We have one last spot left, September
And
13th through
I
the
thought,
26th.
yeah, and I thought we were sold out, but when I talked to Sam, he's like, "Oh, there's an extra room on the Dahabia." So it turned into
Yeah, it
we have
allows
one
us to
more,
extend.
yeah, one more, because it's usually the Dahabia that will put the number of rooms, and I like the quaint smaller ones. I don't like the huge like tour the tour ships. I like the very quaint sailboat
And
dahabeahs
they're
that you
much
have.
more picturesque as well.
They're more Cleopatra. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so yeah, Sam called and said, "Oh, I just found out we have this many rooms on the dahabeah, so I have one more space. Whether we fill it with two people as shared room or a single is still available. Anybody that is as we're getting closer, we're
Right,
under are we 6 weeks now?
right.
Um, and some people are still just making their flight arrangements. So
hmm
there's plenty of availability to get arranged and get your ducks in a row and come on board.
Yes. And also don't forget, you can schedule your free retreat call with Sandy if you do have any questions. I'll throw that link in the show notes for you as well. Let's move into our house, where we are going to discuss the newest, most popular movie, The Odyssey. I have not seen it yet, but Sandy
Are you
has,
going
and
to?
yes, I'm going to. Um,
I was looking
but I
forward
want to
to it,
hear
and
your take.
I was looking forward to it. I thought, okay, it came out on a Friday the 17th, and I bought tickets in advance because that's what I really wanted to do. I wanted to see it right away, and I I went to a Greek restaurant and had some Greek food before I went to the Greek mythology movie, and it's an hour, 2 hours and 40 minutes, which I thought, oh my gosh, it seems so long, but by the time they started rolling the credits at the end. I'm like, are you kidding me? It didn't seem like that long at all. There was so much action.
Wow.
And I mean, and everybody's seeing all the comments and Instagram posts of how they actually did it, and they didn't use any green screens or CGI, and it was first movie ever to be done in IMAX, and how they could only run like 3 minutes or 6 minutes, I forget which one, um, in this film, and then everybody had to like freeze, and they had to reload film, and then they had to ship it to the their some offices, IMAX offices in Los Angeles, and they just filmed from many different locations around the world. Some of it was done in the Aegean Sea, so I was happy to know it was done. Part of it was done in Greece. But
Yeah.
my
I mean, that
favorite
is so
scene, well,
crazy because it is
yeah,
it
and my favorite
I
scene,
go ahead.
well, one of the things that I didn't hear about is Cersei. And I'm like, is Cersei even in this movie? Because that is part of the Odyssey that is my favorite. The whole story about Cersei. I mean, there's a whole book on Cersei that I highly recommend because
Hmm.
it's said that Amargos is Cersei's island, where we have done our retreats in the past, in Greece.
Yeah.
And that scene. So, yep, they climb the hill. The hungry guys or the soldiers all walk up the hill, and she feeds them because she's got lots of animals and she feeds them, but they're mostly pets. But man, the men, she, and this is not a spoiler because if you know the Odyssey, it's what, 3,000 years old. You should know it, that she turns these men into pigs. But I could barely watch that scene. It is so vivid. It's not like she just takes a like I Dream a Genie or Bewitched and
And then it's
takes
all like
robes and
smoke
they
and
turn in.
stars.
No, she molds them with her
Oh,
hands. Oh,
whoa.
it was like a hard scene because they take their time on filming this. That was probably my biggest like, huh? Of course, the Cyclops, I knew that was coming. And that was actually a surprise. We all know how they get out of the cave, where the Cyclops puts a big, large boulder and brings all the sheep in every night, puts the boulder up so the sheep can't escape. And in the morning, the boulder comes out. The Cyclops, which is a huge giant, was a puppet in the movie, moves it, and all of the sheep then go out. So they did a similar little twist on the actual writing that Homer did of how they escaped. It was also brilliant, but slightly different. Um, because the Cyclops will eat two men at a time and likes this human blood and can smell and see them, even with his, like, you know, one
One eye.
protruding.
Yeah.
Um, that was interesting. Oh, I thought how they did Scylla and the whirlpool. And the sirens,
Mm.
where he had the whole, and this is true, and they put beeswax in the ears of all of the boaters, but Odysseus asked not to have it and to tie him to
To
the
the
mast.
mast, right? Yeah.
Hmm. And so when that part of the film came up, when the sirens and you can see the women, and they apparently say that, and you can see the women over on a rock, and they said yes, they used a rock in the middle of the Mediterranean, but they had to use stunt women because they were the only kind of women that could actually climb on the rock and stay. It was
Huh.
like it 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 was just not near you, or an actress could go climb on that stuff and stay. And so when the boat went by, you can see everything went silent, as if we had beeswax in our ears, like
Mm.
in the movie theater, because it was silent. But
Oh,
all you
cool.
saw is Odysseus, Matt Damon, just in this horrible terror on his face, and he's screaming, but you can't hear it. And
Oh,
his
wow.
face is like contorted, and that wasn't, he actually looked like that, because it must have been so horrifying, because that it's known that men jump off the boat because they are so connected to the sound of them that they die. right? That they
Mm-hmm.
jump overboard and die. So that was interesting. I wish they would have spent a little bit more time with Calypso.
Ah.
I was hoping Hermes would really come to Calypso's island and request for um, her to release Odysseus from the island because he stayed the longest with her.
Hmm.
They incorporated the Lotus Eaters that are in the Odyssey, but they incorporated it in on the island with her. So because it's a 10-year span, but they do bring in a little bit of the Trojan War. I was wondering if they were going to do that. Of course, the horse.
Mm-hmm.
The horse is a scene to watch several times.
That's
And
like
they
on the movie banner
oh, the
poster.
horror and
Mm-hmm.
how they got in there and the Hades scene. I'm learning more about the Hades scene. They literally buried them under sand, black sand with snorkels in like Greenland or some island. Um, if it was Iceland, um, and uh, and they would kind of come up as they were shooting it, and they were, of course, all dark and black, and so it was very interesting. Yeah, no, it's
Wow.
worth seeing, and I did see it before all the s- talk, and interviews and all
All
that,
the press, yeah.
all the press, and now I want to see it again because now I have more to watch.
Mm.
I have more
Well,
insights.
perfect. Maybe I'll go with you because I'm excited to watch it.
And I'd like to see it in IMAX this time.
Oh yeah, I heard that some people were disappointed if they watched it in a regular movie theater because since it was filmed for IMAX, some of the things were kind of cut out. So interesting.
Yeah, it's
But
worth seeing.
yeah, and let us know if you have watched it and your thoughts. If there was anything surprising or exciting that you found out about the Odyssey. But all in all, that is the end of our episode today, everybody. Thank you so much for joining in, and we will talk to you all next week. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
I say go do you. Now travel far, share your stories and earn your scars. It's you. Say you are the one you will answer to when this life is done. Don't waste a minute, jump in the river. Wash yourself clean so you can deliver you. The story of you does